Episode 132, Two Middle-Aged Men in Cleveland, Ken Dworsnik, Ted Klopp. We've done 132 of these. Jeez Louise. My God, that's
We're going to
crazy.
be starting year uh, 5 here pretty soon.
Oh my gosh, we've done this for 5 years?
2020, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Wow. Okay.
I guess time flies when you're having fun.
Time is certainly flying by. Before we go into our jersey numbers, Ted, obviously you deal with craziness sometimes with the combination of your kids and your wife and just activities going on. I think everyone does, let's be honest.
Only on
But
days.
there are some days, there are some days that are just, you just want to hit the reset and just try it again. And I guess today would be that day. It doesn't involve my kids. It really doesn't involve anything with work. It's just really, it was an odd day. And I guess I wish I could have started again. So we've started barrel season all over Northeast Ohio, all the other states. And obviously construction it's a necessity. Things have to get fixed between roads and improving water lines and all that. So I'm in the Medina area, and in the mornings, one of my new routines is I like to go. Shout out to our friends at Planet Fitness in Medina. I enjoy it. It's very clean. It's a great place. Today's adventure to get to Planet Fitness was hard. It's usually a 5-minute drive. Ted, it took me 25 minutes to get there today.
What?
They shut down the main road, which is Fenn Road.
Fenn, I've been there.
They're putting in water lines. Now, get ready for this. Fenn Road is shut down from now, and we are in the beginning of March, all the way until October.
Oh, that's only, well, more than half the year.
And that's obviously that's an estimate.
Right.
And you know what that means when they give you an estimate. It's not going to be that soon.
Right.
So
things could take longer.
I have a friend that lives off that road, and he hums. It's pretty interesting. So we had that to start.
Yeah.
Workout was great. I know you're concerned about that. Went to one of my favorite coffee shops, Cool Beans. That was great. And usually what I do, I have been traveling a little bit more for work. I have to go to the Cincinnati area. I will not be bringing Bill Belichick with me. I'll be on my own. Even though he's retired, I figured he'd have more time to go to Cincinnati, but I don't think Bill at this time is interested in that.
Probably not.
So I like to pick up a car from Enterprise. I think they're great. And I don't know if you knew this or not, Ted. They pick you up if you want. So
okay.
They've talked about that. I've never done that. I usually park my car very close and then pick up a car. Well, today's interaction was different. I go outside and everybody was outside. No one was in the building. So there was 4 customers along with the 2 people for customer service. And I walk up, I said, "Hey, I'm here to pick up my car." And I was told that I could not because they were locked out of the building.
Oh, well,
I kind of
begs the question, how did that happen?
I don't know.
Oh.
And I just kind of looked at them. They said, it's probably going to take us a half hour to an hour before we can get you your car.
Oh.
Okay.
So
waited an hour, did some more work, and so be it. I got my vehicle. But yeah, today was not the start you're looking for. And I'm hoping my day is better. And maybe this podcast will do that for me.
Well, let's hope, right?
Your bright, smiling face will cheer me up. But yeah, it was a battle this morning. But as Coach Kyle always said from Ignatius, sometimes, men, you have to fight adversity. And that was my adversity today.
Sometimes you have to fight adversity.
Sometimes.
Wow.
You want some jersey numbers from me? Are you ready?
Well, I mean, this is kind of an easy one in some respects. I mean, 32, there's only one 32 really worth talking about, is there?
It's true.
Jim Brown.
Mr. Jim Brown. Yeah. Now, I did my research today. You'd be impressed. There's actually 3 other players that wore the number 32, but I believe after Jim Brown played, nobody else has worn that number.
So these would be guys before Jim Brown.
Yeah, correct.
Oh boy, I
You're not going to know. I didn't know any.
I don't.
We're not
I
even
don't
going to
have any
name
of
them.
those.
No, we're not going to go that route. Any thoughts on the Guardians Indians?
Well, let's see. Guardians Indians 32. What? Jeff Banta was 42, I think.
Correct.
Okay. 32.
So actually, this list for the Guardians Indians is actually pretty good. We got a
The
couple Hall of Famers on here.
did Greg Swindell in his second go around wear 32?
He did not.
Okay. I don't know. Go ahead.
Good guess. Roger Maris,
Wow.
Dean Chance. Did you have any runnings with Dean Chance? Dean Chance was kind of big in the Ashland Mansfield area. He was hosting softball tournaments. Did you ever do anything with Dean Chance when you were working at WMFD?
I do not.
You did not. Okay.
I did not.
Very nice man. Steve Carlton. Remember the year? It was 1987, and the Indians rolled out and made this big promotion because they had Steve Carlton and Phil Necro on the same squad,
There you go.
which I think both at the time were pushing 50, which is awesome.
Yeah.
This is the one I thought you would get. El Presidente, Dennis Martinez.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I know he was one of your favorite pitchers.
Oh well, you know.
Did you interview him?
I don't remember interviewing him.
Okay. Travis Hafner had the jersey in 2003. He wore it for one season.
Yeah, okay.
Here's a name. He played and wore this jersey from 2007 to 2010. Aaron Laffey? Do you know who that is? I don't know. I mean, he wore the jersey so long, I would think I know who that is. I have no idea who that is.
That's news to me.
He'd step up to me and punch me in the face, and I still don't know who he would be.
Right.
So, Jay Bruce.
Jay Bruce,
He was the guy who had a very famous home run when the Indians had that record for most consecutive wins. And then Framil Reyes. Remember Framil? He kind of fell apart. So.
Yeah.
How about your Cavaliers?
Wasn't Wally Zerbiak 32?
He was not.
Oh, darn.
Great guess.
30.
This list isn't bad either.
Wait a minute. Tyrone Hill was 32.
He was the pride of Xavier. Yes.
I don't know who else. I sure there's somebody who wore 32 that played with LeBron, wasn't there?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know who it is.
We'll go with a couple here. It's Larry Hughes.
Okay.
Joe Smith. Roy Hinson. Remember Roy Hinson?
Yeah.
Why is Roy Hinson famous? You'll know this.
No, I won't.
They traded him to get Brad Doherty.
Oh, wow. I should know that.
Robert Traylor, the tractor, who's no longer with us living, unfortunately. He passed away from a heart attack. Luke Walton, who's one of our coaches. He was wearing 32. Jeff Green, who I think has played for 85 NBA teams. And then Dean Wade, I know one of your more favorite players on the current Cavaliers team. So.
Well, I do pride myself on my knowledge of all the Cavaliers' current players.
I love it.
Yeah, sure.
You should.
We'll go with that.
That's what I got, Ted.
Okay.
That's my report.
That's wow. Well, that's pretty strong. Not as strong as what we have on this week's show, though. You're going to love this. We have babies, tattoos, bugs, horses, and farts.
Isn't this our show every week? Isn't that what we basically have? And humor. This is great.
I don't know. This, I think we can safely say, this is the only podcast where you find that grouping of topics.
I would probably say that's correct.
And we've got them all, and they're coming up.
And now, a woman's perspective.
How do males exercise on the beach? By sucking in their stomachs every time they see a bikini.
This has been a woman's perspective.
Ted, we have some good news. An airplane pilot flying a Viet jet from Taiwan to Bangkok left the cockpit while piloting the plane when he was told a woman was in labor in a bathroom.
He
There
just
you
got
go.
up, he just got up and left.
Yep, said, forget it. You're taking over. I got to deliver this baby.
So wait a minute, well, the heck with the other 100 some people on board.
We're not going to worry about
Let's
that.
get
This
the
woman
baby.
is extremely important. She's having
Got
a
it.
child.
Okay.
The co-pilot took over, flying the plane, and pilot Jakarin Samraska School. That sounds about right, right? He delivered the baby shortly after arriving at one of the plane's bathrooms. He has been a pilot for 18 years, but of course, this was a first for him.
Yeah.
Paramedics were waiting for the plane when it landed in Thailand. Mom and baby are fine. That's a great story. Well done. You know what? Just kind of step on up. He must have stayed at a Holiday Inn and said, you know what? I can play a doctor. Even though I'm piloting this plane, I can play a doctor. Let me do it.
By the way, in a related story, that guy's name is worth 72 in Scrabble.
Oh my gosh, you would win every time. Just play that word and you've won the whole game.
Time for the Cleveland calendar. We're here at the beginning of March, and I know we've got a big event in Cleveland next month. But before we get there, Jen, I think that there's going to be some green beer flowing here before too long. So, what's happening in Cleveland for St. Patrick's Day, and what do we need to do to prepare for that?
Well,
By the way, I don't know if I said this. Jen Brasnovich from Destination Cleveland is with us. I'm really
Unbelievable.
betting 1,000 today. So
My
now that
gosh.
I've improperly introduced you, Jen, please go ahead.
I just thought I was like Sharon. I just had like the first name. Everyone just knew who Jen
Yeah.
was. Yeah. I think as we head into St. Patrick's Day, we're like less than 2 weeks out now. We should all start hydrating now. That's the advice I will give your listeners and give the two of you. That one's free. It's free advice. Next one's going to cost you. But of course, March is the month of St. Patrick's Day, and that is because it is Irish Heritage Month as well. So let's start with St. Patrick's Day. Obviously, a great opportunity for Clevelanders to get out and celebrate the rich Irish heritage here in Cleveland. We have a pretty big heritage here. They're working on Irishtown Bend and completely redeveloping that. But we'll have the Cleveland St. Patrick's Day Parade, as always, in downtown Cleveland. This year's theme is One Island, One Nation. So step off will be at 2:04 p.m. Don't show up at 2:05. You'll be a minute late. It's at 2:04 p.m. at the intersection of Superior Avenue and East 18th Street. So make sure you get there early to secure your good watch spot and watch the parade. And then, of course, the celebrations continue all day long. Downtown Cleveland, the West Park Camps neighborhood always has a big celebration happening out there. And just all across the area. Like you said, there will be some green beer flowing. And this year it is on a Sunday. So you don't even have to worry about taking the day off. You will have to worry about how you might feel Monday morning, but that is between you and your boss. That is not guidance that I can offer at this time.
That might be the most amount of call-offs for work that I think any businesses have seen in a long time. Right? Am I off base, Ted and Jen?
I would think that
true?
and the Monday after the Super Bowl are probably,
Yes.
right, those are the top two.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I will be at work. Don't worry, guys. Destination Cleveland will be full speed ahead.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So happening also the weekend of St. Patrick's Day. You mentioned we've got a few big things happening here in April, but before we get to April, we do have a few big things happening here in March as well. So the MAC basketball tournament will be March 13th through 16th, the Mid-American Conference. They hold their tournament here every year at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. They're actually one of the only conferences to host their tournament in a professional basketball arena. So that's a really cool thing for the Mid-American Conference students and teams to be playing in a professional arena. So the teams will be set. The Mid-American Conference basketball tournament will be back and ready for all the MACtion. See what I did there? The MACtion is going to take place at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So it will be men's and women's teams competing March 13th through 16th. Times do vary each day based on which day it is and the teams that are playing. But if you are excited for the NCAA Women's Final Four, which will be here in April, and perhaps weren't able to get tickets to that game because it is like the hottest ticket in sports right now. But if you weren't able to get tickets to that game, the MAC tournament is a really good opportunity to watch some of these teams take the court and get in on that NCAA action, which is just so hot right now. It's exploding with popularity, especially the women's sport. So that's a really cool thing that's happening. Also St. Patrick's Day weekend. So you can catch some basketball, and then on Sunday you can down your green beer. And then you guys also mentioned another little thing happening in April. We're having a total solar eclipse, the last one that will come through Ohio until 2444. So truly a once in a lifetime event, unless some big strides in technology happen in the next few years. But the Cleveland Monsters will be hosting a total eclipse night on March 30th. It's not really an eclipse night. It's going to be an eclipse late afternoon, because puck drop is at 3:15, which is to honor the exact time that we will witness the total solar eclipse here in Cleveland, when Cleveland will be plunged into darkness as the moon passes between Earth and the sun in April. So all fans who attend that will get a total solar eclipse survival pack, which includes a pair of Monsters eclipse glasses and a commemorative t-shirt that says "I survived the eclipse in Cleveland." So a really cool way to get ready for that total solar eclipse that will be here in April. And then,
Wow.
like I mentioned, it is Irish Heritage Month. So really encouraging Clevelanders to get out there and celebrate the Irish heritage that exists here in Cleveland. One of the cool ways you can do that is through the Cultural Gardens over off of MLK Boulevard. The Irish Cultural Gardens bills itself as the greenest of the park gardens. It was dedicated in 1939 and is ever expanding. There's recent additions like the Fountain Plaza, which is a replica of the St. Patrick's Well Foundation in Dublin, and the Writers' Recognition Court. So a really cool way to celebrate Irish heritage here in Cleveland. And of course, if you're really looking to get in the spirit, we have that direct flight on Aer Lingus now to Dublin. So if you like what you see here in Cleveland and you want to see the real thing, you can head over to Dublin on a direct flight from Aer Lingus.
That's super exciting.
Jen?
Ted, go. You want me to go? Or are you going to go?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, Jen, this solar eclipse, which people have been talking about, by the way, thanks for all the updates and everything in March. It is super jam-packed. There's so many great things. Maction is awesome. I can't wait to go. I actually was talking to Ted earlier in the podcast. I went to a Guardians game. I wish it was a Guardians game. I was at a Monsters game, and then I went to the Charge this past weekend. So I was all Cleveland up. This solar eclipse and all the events going on, I mean, I don't think people in this area realize how busy things are going to be, because there's so many people from all throughout the country that are coming to the Northeast Ohio area to view the eclipse, because it's considered one of the best areas to watch this. So I guess my question for you, Jen, with all the different events, is there a certain place that you recommend to go and watch this?
So I think anywhere in the Northeast Ohio region, you're going to have a great view of it. Of course, it's all weather dependent, but we've heard that even if it's cloudy that day, you'll still get the effect of the eclipse. It'll still go dark. So you'll have those few minutes of darkness. Destination Cleveland, right now, we're estimating that we're going to see about 200,000 day and overnight visitors to Cuyahoga County to witness this eclipse. So, I mean, that's coming on the heels of the NCAA Women's Final Four that will be here the 5th through the 7th. And then, of course, you mentioned the Guardians. The Guardians have their home opener the day of the eclipse as well at 5:10. So it's just going to be, it's going to be the place to be. People absolutely want to view this. We're one of only 13 states in the path of totality, and we have one of the longest durations of total darkness. We're going to be nearly 4 minutes of total darkness starting at 3:13 p.m. So all of that being said, there are several events that are happening around the area that Clevelanders and their visiting friends and family can go and check out. So one of the biggest ones that's happening is the Total Eclipse Fest, which is going to be happening right along the lakefront there at the Great Lakes Science Center. So Great Lakes Science Center is also home to NASA's Glenn Research Center and the Visitor Center there. So they'll be teaming up to host the Total Solar Eclipse Fest from April 6th through 8th. So there's going to be a few things happening there. NASA Village is going to be set up featuring NASA scientists, engineers, and educators. NASA TV will be broadcasting live from the event to all of the people who aren't lucky enough to be here in Cleveland and see all of the excitement firsthand. There's going to be performances from local arts and cultural organizations. And then on April 7th, the day before the eclipse, the Cleveland Orchestra will perform an out-of-this-world concert It's going to be images from the Hubble Telescope, International Space Station, and NASA's photo archives with them playing music over it. So that's right along North Coast Harbor in downtown Cleveland, a really great spot to be along the lakefront and view the eclipse. Also happening in the city of Cleveland is Total on the Oval. So the Cleveland Museum of Natural History and University Circle are teaming up to host this viewing party that will take place on Wade Oval. So guests will have live music, some science activities. It is completely free and family friendly. Free eclipse glasses will be distributed to people who attend that event while supplies last. Because of course you cannot look at the eclipse without the specially designed eclipse glasses. That is very important. Safety is number one when it comes to viewing this eclipse and making sure that you have those special eclipse glasses. And then out in Avon Lake, they're actually on the path of totality, about 20 miles west of downtown. So they're at the center line of totality. So if you look at the map that shows the path of totality, they're right smack dab there in the center for the Northeast Ohio area. They'll be hosting a ticketed watch party at the high school. There is a 5K, and they have designated areas for camping and overnight parking. So we're expecting a ton of people to be coming from all over the country and all over the world to Avon Lake to view this eclipse from there. So far, organizers say that they have travelers confirmed coming from at least 22 different states and several countries, including Canada and Ireland, who are all coming to Avon Lake to view the eclipse from there. So, I mean, really here in Cleveland with the lakefront and all of the green space that we have there, if you're at Lakewood Park, or if you're at Edgewater Beach, or if you're at the beaches on the east side, I mean, really being along the lake is going to be really cool because you'll be right there lakefront to view it. But with so many great metro parks and the Cuyahoga Valley National Park within the path of totality, we're really expecting a huge number of people to come to our area and view this eclipse here in Cleveland.
I love the verbiage. That just sounds, we're in the path of totality. Do we have we need to get Jay Pappas. He's our big voice guy. We need to get him on the path of totality.
I love it.
Or the guy from whatever movie phone or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now, hey,
Yeah.
you said about 200,000 people. Can you offer any perspective as to what other big events have, numbers of people have brought? I mean, is there anything that compares to that?
As far as Cleveland goes,
Yeah.
probably not. I mean, this is just,
okay.
it's going to be such a massive driver for tourism for us. You'll have people who, like my parents, have decided that they want to come and view it here with me. So they'll be coming from New York to view it, even though they're on the path of totality too. But I guess, don't tell my brother I'm the favorite child, so they'd rather be here. But you'll have people like my parents who want to just travel to see their friends and family in the Cleveland area and view it here. You'll have people who are eclipse chasers who just travel the world to view these kind of celestial events, who are coming from all over the country and all over the world.
Hang on. They're eclipse chasers. What do they do the rest of the time?
I think
these
they're
eclipses happen often.
I think they're just super passionate about space and this type
Okay.
of phenomenon. So they'll be all coming from all over the country, all over the world to view this because we are going to be in the path of totality. And like I said, out of 50 states, we're one of only 13 who are in that path of totality. It's a pretty thin line when you look at it. It's not a very wide path. So it's just going to be one of the coolest places to be. And I think because we have such a long duration of totality, that's why people are choosing to come to Cleveland as well.
Do you get an extra thing in your check every time you say path of totality?
I wish I should
Okay.
start petitioning for that.
Okay.
So I want to make sure our listeners understand. I know this is, at this point in time where we're recording, it's more than a month away, but the cluster is not the word I want to use, but being able to get around in the different areas. If you plan on going to any of this stuff, you better go early, because not only do you have people coming from out of town, most schools are off.
Yep.
So everybody's going to take their kids and they're going to go to these different events, which I think is awesome. But I must say, if you just think you're going to, show up 5 minutes before, you're mistaken.
You're going to be in your car.
And the eclipse portion actually starts around 1 o'clock. So, the moon starts moving, or, starts covering the sun around 1 o'clock. And then we hit that full totality at 3:13, which is when the moon will completely eclipse the sun. It'll be completely dark. But yeah, we're really just telling people, do your advanced planning. If you think you want to go somewhere else that's not your, backyard or just down the street from you, plan in advance. Make sure you get there with plenty of time. Pack your patience, because there's going to be a ton of people in this area. There's going to be a ton of people on the roads, and our Cuyahoga County Emergency Management team is doing everything they can to really prepare people for this. But that's our biggest thing, is we're encouraging everyone, plan ahead. Make sure that you practice a little extra patience that day, because it is a once in a lifetime event. We want to make sure everybody has a safe and enjoyable time viewing this.
Jen, I guess we'll be ready for the wearing of the green, and then we're ready for the wearing of the sunglasses.
Yep. Yeah, and those special eclipse glasses, there are several places that are still offering them. So if you head to our website, thisiscleveland.com, we have a whole page dedicated to the solar eclipse. So you can find where to get those solar eclipse glasses. You can see all of the events that are happening, and then any other tips you need for safe viewing. We'll be posting things there about any road closures, traffic management, anything that people need to know. We'll try to get up on that website as well.
Ted, real quick, Jen, thanks for mentioning this. By the way, and this goes to many of our listeners who are extremely intelligent. They don't need to be told this, but I do have a couple of my friends that listen to this podcast. You can't just wear regular glasses. You can't just pull out your sunglasses, by the way, and say, I'm ready for the solar eclipse. You'll burn your retinas and you will not see anything. You have to get the special glasses, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
get the
Please
special
do.
glasses. We cannot stress that enough. You can't just throw on sunglasses. You need those special eclipse glasses. And if you can't get your hands on those special eclipse glasses, there are a few alternatives. You can make those pinhole viewers.
Yes.
I remember making those in like elementary school when we had a partial eclipse. But you can find that information all through like NASA and the Great Lakes Science Center as well. They're really making sure that people have all of the safety precautions they need to view this once in a lifetime event safely.
This event has the potential to offer us a number of Darwin Award winners.
Possibility.
Hopefully
Jen,
not here in Cleveland.
by the way, Jen, I'll leave you with this as we get ready for St. Patrick's Day. What's green and sits on your porch?
What?
Patio furniture.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
I can always tell when you say I'm going to leave you with this that it's about to be a dad joke.
Jen, I'm so sorry for this. You don't deserve this. Seriously, you give us so much great information, and this is how we end it.
Jen, I got
That's
to
all
tell you, a little insight into my life. I've been married it'll be 16 years this year. About 2 years into our marriage, my wife one day says, "You don't have any new jokes, do you?" And I said, "Nobody else ever stuck around this long."
Got to start researching some new ones.
There you go. All right, Jen. Well, we appreciate the info, and we'll look forward, as they say, with our special glasses to all of the events, the green sunglasses and the protective sunglasses for all the events coming up. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Ted, we're out and about Northeast Ohio. We did make some travels into South Carolina, West Virginia, and a host of some other wonderful places. But we won't talk about that. We're going to keep it really local. I felt very similar to yourself. I have 2 events that I went to with my kids here in the last weekend. We took in the Monsters game on Friday night
Nice.
because they took on a team from Chicago. We had a wonderful time. Very fan friendly. That is one of my favorite events, to be honest with you, the Monsters. They do a great job.
100%.
Tickets are lower priced. The concessions are priced correctly, unless you have a beer, but that's a different story. I must report, we had a loss. They got destroyed. It was 1-1 going into the third, and they lost 5-1. So I'm 0-1 on the season with the monsters. However, we thought we'd make up for it, and we went to another. It was minor league weekend for me, I guess, where we went to the Charge at the Wolstein
Oh.
Center, which I know you and the family has done in the past. It is, I'll be honest with you, the basketball is not bad. You're not watching NBA type of games. We saw, let's see, Pete Nance, who's Larry Nance's son. Larry Nance was at the game. That was kind of cool. And then Amani Bates, who's a guy that the Cavs drafted. He played as well. The Charge won. It was very exciting. But here's the odd thing, okay? It's a general sports thing. I know in high school sports, people get very passionate. Ted, you have kids in hockey. That is certainly a sport where people get fired up and are very passionate. I've been around high school sports and college sports for a long time. We're at the game. Actually, it was officiated extremely well. And just like everything else, you have young players, you have young coaches, and you have young referees that are learning to eventually go to the NBA. It was very fun. One of the officials who I thought was very good, female official, she was on it. She called technical fouls. She was all over it. She called the game extremely well. Well, there was like a kind of a tight play between the Charge, and they played this team from Chicago. And I don't know, it's a little bit questionable. And all of a sudden, the play stops. The referee points to a fan and basically says the fan has to get thrown out.
This is the one.
And so I'm sitting there looking at my son. I'm like, did she just say a fan has to get thrown out? Well, I guess there was a lady sitting in the front row. I imagine she made some comment or said something that was probably completely inappropriate. She got thrown out. And so, I mean, it's funny, but at the same time, her son was there. I'm sorry, her daughter was there, and she's just bawling. This poor girl's bawling because her mom got thrown out of the game. So another lady came over, grabbed her. It must have been a friend or a relative or something, and she ended up sitting with them the rest of the game. But this lady gets thrown out from a G League game. I mean, it was really odd. I of course, you're going to see odd things when you're around people, but yeah, that was certainly a highlight. But besides that, I think they do a nice job with those games. Once again, fan friendly. It's a smaller venue. They don't use the upper bowl. I mean, we sat 3 rows from the court behind the Charge bench, and I think I think it was $19 a ticket or something like that. I mean, it's very affordable and it's fun. You know, you're close to the game. It was a very good time. So, Ted, those are my Cleveland out and abouts from this past weekend. Obviously, went to a couple other places, but those are the 2 I'll mention. I certainly want to hear you're out and about. You've been to some hockey games and running around a bit in Cleveland for business. So what do you have, sir?
Well, we got tickets to, we were given tickets to go to the Monsters game on Wednesday,
Okay.
the Huntington Club section.
Oh,
Or is that what it's called? The Huntington Club
we
section?
got the Huntington and then you have the Westfield.
Okay, this was the Huntington area.
Nice.
The only disappointment is that they don't have the food out like they do for Cavs games. But other than that, that was great. The game was awesome. As my kids would say, oh, there were a lot of fights.
Oh, that's good. That's
Game
what you're
went to
looking for.
overtime. Monsters won. My youngest son came running up when they won and said, Daddy, can I take my shirt off?
He wanted to take his shirt off.
Wanted to flex.
Wow. Good for
So,
him. This
Sure.
is who? Fritz?
Hans.
Oh, Hans. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to be like Hans and Franz. He wanted to bump you up.
I guess so.
There you
Yeah.
go.
He was all over it. It was he was all over it. So we did that, and like you said, ticket prices awesome.
Yes.
The food awesome. So it was great. We also, as you mentioned, took in some hockey. I don't think we ate at any of the. Well, no, we ate at Strongsville.
Okay.
Chicken fingers, 2 thumbs up.
I
2
love it.
thumbs up for the chicken fingers at Strongsville. At the Brunswick Auto Mart Arena.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very cool. I love it.
We can talk more about hockey later in the show, but food wise, those were our. We also ate at the Brew Garden, which is also in Strongsville, and a spectacular meal. I had salmon with squash and a few other things. Oh my God, was it great!
Why did you squash your salmon? Just
well, that's
I wouldn't do that. That's weird.
We'll talk about that later. That's my
Ted, I'm proud of you.
yeah. Thank you.
Proud of you. Great out and about. We're supporting a local business. Brew Kettle, man, that place is blowing up. They're all over the
Brew
place.
Garden. Brew Garden.
Brew Garden. I'm sorry, I thought you said Brew Kettle. Brew Garden. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I know that place well, and I'll talk about that place some other time.
There you
So,
go.
Ted, thanks for being out and about Northeast Ohio, spending your hard-earned money, supporting your local businesses, tipping your waitresses. Once again, keep getting out and about.
Forecast Roulette with the official meteorologist of two middle-aged men in Cleveland, Fox 8's Scott Sable.
One of our favorite segments, Forecast Roulette, with the official meteorologist from two middle-aged men in Cleveland, Scott Sable. Scott, thanks for taking the time. How are things for you? I know you guys have your podcast with your brother. You guys have put out some great episodes. I know one with Omar Vizquel. Do you have any others coming up that people should check out?
Yeah, we do. We have one with Peyton Hillis. You remember Peyton Hillis, running back for the Browns back about 10 years ago?
Isn't he the Joe Charbonneau of football?
It's right.
No, he wasn't opening bottles with his eye sockets. No, he's just running.
And he wasn't wearing fur coats on the in the dugout. But no, that was a really good one. That's actually a tearjerker because he was involved with he had an accident last year and almost drowned. So he was going over that. That's a really good one. That was one I didn't expect. And then we just recorded one with Rocky Colavito. Remember, he was the power hitter for the Indians back in the 50s and I think another stint in the 60s. And man, he was a guy. He was something else. He was a guy that hold on one second, guys.
Oh, this is perfect.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
He's got fans talking to him.
What is happening here?
He's got fans
You
while
know
we're
what
doing
that
this
was?
podcast. This is
he
amazing.
signing autographs? Now, wait a minute. Hold on. First of
I
all,
had to get some lunch, and so I just put an order. And long story short, they brought the order out to me. So
where's lunch?
I'm normally a professional, but I mean,
Where's lunch
sorry,
today?
Food becomes before your podcast.
Where's
I
lunch?
understand that.
It is in. Actually, we were just recording a podcast. My brother and I. It's in Twinsburg, and I don't really know the name of the place to be honest with you. My brother's. It's a long story. It's a long story. What was I talking about, Rocky Colavito?
I don't know. Rocky Colavito, which, by the way, I want to say, he's a big deal, but you pushed us off just so you could talk to him. I mean, come on.
Well, he kept going. We thought, okay, he's 91, and you got to listen to the interview.
Really? Holy
cow. He's 91, and we thought, okay, maybe the interview wouldn't go that long because he's 91. And man, he kept going and going and telling great stories. And I'm like, wow, we weren't expecting this. So I'm like, that's why I had to text you guys and go, all right, can we kind of push this? Because I don't want to let the guy go. And he was, it was a fun one. It was, and my dad was there too, because my dad's favorite player growing up was Rocky Colavito. So we had a chance to say a couple of words to him. So
that's awesome.
That's cool.
So,
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, we probably should spin the wheel.
Yeah, we should.
I think Ted spun it last time. Would you be fine spinning it? Would you be okay doing that?
Absolutely. Here we go.
Are your hands full with your lunch?
No, I put it on the dashboard. I'm good.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm 1, 2, 3. Spinning the wheel.
Off the rails.
Did it stop yet?
I hope it does.
What do we got, Ted? I can't see it. I don't have my glasses
Yes,
on.
it stopped. Yes. Do you want me to tell you where it stopped?
Oh, please.
It stopped. Hold on. I can tell you where it stopped. It stopped. Where the heck is it? Hold on. Oh, there it is. Jackson, Tennessee.
Jackson,
What do you know
Tennessee.
about Jackson, Tennessee, Scott.
But you know what? I just checked my lunch. I'm supposed to have wings. Where the hell are the wings at?
Oh boy.
Brother, steal the wing. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I got sidetracked there.
Wait a minute.
Where was
Is
that?
Bruce Drennan on the show all of a sudden? What's going on?
Jackson, Tennessee. I'm sorry. Jackson, Tennessee. Jackson, Tennessee. Weather. Oh, you know what? It's kind of like here. It's been sunny. Temperatures down there, like in the mid upper 50s.
Uh-huh.
Jackson, Tennessee. Who is from there? Isn't there a favorite former Cavs player?
It could be a favorite
yeah.
player.
I think it's Campy Russell. Isn't Campy
Oh,
Russell
yeah.
from there, Scott?
That sounds about right.
Yes, that's true.
God, he's been part of the Cavs and part of the Cavs organization for a long time. And Scott, I think that's another person you guys had on your podcast at one point in time, correct?
We did, yeah, and I think he does a lot of alumni stuff with the Cavs as well, if memory serves.
He just seems like one of those guys, and I've had the opportunity to meet with him, and he's always taking pictures with the fans. He just seems like a down-to-earth guy, and what you see is what you get. He just seems like a really solid person.
Really is, and he's a guy who, when you talk to him, he'll talk your ear off, and it's not like, some people you talk to him and they're like, all right, well, you can kind of tell they don't want to be there. He wants to be there. And that's so refreshing when you have somebody like that who's been with the organization for as long as he's been. It was just, it's fun. It's just fun talking to him. He's got so many good memories, so many great stories.
Are you going to have to fight somebody to get your wings? I'm a little concerned for you.
My brother, no, that's not my brother. Guy in the same jacket. You know what? My brother's car's still here, so I might have to put a note on the wiper blade or something.
I have no idea what's happening right now.
This is the best way.
So let me explain real quick here. So we were inside, and I'm like, "Look, I got to do another podcast." My brother said, "All right, well, when the food comes, I'll bring the food out to you."
Sure.
So the food is brought out, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, we paid for wings too." So my guess is my dad and my brother are in there eating their wings and my wings.
Oh, geez, Scott. We'll have to wrap this up for you. My gosh.
So this is ridiculous. But anyway, go ahead. No, you guys come first. That's okay.
Nobody should screw with your food. I mean, life's hard enough. Don't screw with your food. Oh, that's
we
classic.
come first, except when Rocky Calavito's on the line.
Yeah. Any other tidbits on Campy Russell?
You know what? I don't remember off the top of my head. He think here. He loved playing because he played at the Coliseum, and he said I know what it was. The Coliseum was new right about the time when he came with the Cavs, and he said that place was it was unbelievable to play out at a location like that. It was in the middle of nowhere back then, but it was a state-of-the-art place to play, and it was a joy to come there and play every day back in the mid-70s. That he couldn't say enough about the Coliseum. Good enough good things.
Well, that's awesome.
Wow.
Well, Scott, I think we've covered a lot. Once again, Jackson, Tennessee, very similar to weather what we're having in Cleveland right now, a little bit warmer. And obviously where Campy Russell was born. So thank you so much. I hope you get your wings. I mean, obviously it sounds like you might have to fight the groundhog, which you've talked about previously, and then also your brother. So
my brother's a little taller, not as scrappy, but we'll take care of it.
Fair enough. Figured as much. Well, thanks for the time, Scott.
No problem, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Forecast Roulette with the official meteorologist of two middle-aged men in Cleveland, Fox 8's Scott Sable.
Overachievers now, Ken. A Welshman is now a Guinness World Record holder. 42-year-old Craig Evans got his first rabbit tattoo in 2009. Here we are, 15 years later. He's now got 69 rabbit tattoos on his arms, legs, and chest. That's enough for a world record. That's enough for a few other things, but a world record is amongst them.
There's a lot of things I'd like to say, but
yes, please go ahead.
I've learned that maybe sometimes it's better to say nothing, but the only thing I'll have to say, it's just, that's too much.
My observation would be coloring books are a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Well said.
Now here's interesting. This is interesting part. He got the tattoos because he thinks rabbits are cute, but he doesn't have a pet rabbit. He does have a pet terrier instead.
Huh.
So there you go.
A lot of questions I have for this gentleman, Craig.
Yeah,
A lot of questions.
I think those are going to remain the unanswered kind.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Time for more Cleveland sports history. Dusty Sloan, our historian, has been kind enough to join us. Dusty, January 25th, 1924, a red letter day in Cleveland Browns history. One of the greatest, some next to Jim Brown, maybe the greatest football player to ever wear a Browns uniform. Lou the Toe Groza was born in Martins Ferry, Ohio. 9-time Pro Bowler, 4 times first team All-Pro. I don't want to steal your thunder, but what are your thoughts on Lou the Toe?
Well, Lou the Toe Groza, you can't write the history of both the National Football League or football in Ohio without Lou Groza, because he literally was born 100 years ago this year, January 25th, and plays at Middleburg, or died at Middleburg Heights, and in between plays his high school football in Ohio, plays Ohio State, played his entire NFL career with the Cleveland Browns. So you cannot say anything about either the history of the Browns or the history of football in this great state without mentioning him. And one thing I saw when I was getting ready for this, there's only one kicker in the history of the National Football League who has been named NFL MVP, and that was Mark Mosley in 1982, the strike-shortened season when he almost made every kick Redskins win the Super Bowl. Well, in 1954, the Sporting News named Lou Groza the NFL Player of the Year. Wow. Which obviously he played both tackle and kicker, but for both of those positions, even when you're combining them, that is a rare feat to be able to be named that.
That's pretty amazing. And the other thing too, if you think about it, this day and age, to think about a player playing 2 different positions and excelling so well, that to me is just absolutely amazing. Did you ever have the opportunity to meet Lou Groza, Dusty? I know, being a huge Cleveland Browns fan, I know you met a lot of different people. I actually did. He was one of the nicest people you can ever meet. And he was one of those guys, very similar to Bob Feller. He signed everything all the time, anytime. He didn't care about that. I think most people that were Browns fans had the opportunity to get his autograph. But did you ever meet him in person?
Never got the chance to. No, and I would have loved to be able to pick his brain about that time back then. But, and I'm looking at his career stats here, and you wouldn't, obviously back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, place kicking wasn't nearly as good as what it is right now. But to have him make 55% of his field goals, back then that was a Justin Tucker type deal. And then in 1953, he made 23 of 26 field goals. That's 88.5%. In the early 50s, no one did that. So just the proficiency that he had, and like you mentioned, Ken, just the being such a nice guy, and to play in the National Football League for 22 years, that's absurd.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I have a quick, I did not meet Lou Groza, but I spoke to Lou Groza, and there's a little insight into how radio works. So when I worked, one of my first jobs was at WKNR. I was the producer. I was a producer there, and I don't think I was producing the evening show. I think it was the daytime show that day. So it would have been the fabulous Greg Brinda. And I think it was Steelers week. I don't remember. But what I do remember is we were given a list of Browns legends, and we were told to, get them on the phone and have them on the show. And there's all these people on there, and once you get them on, you cross them off so the next producer doesn't duplicate. Holy cow, Lou Groza hasn't been on the air yet. So I call Lou Groza and sure, I'll come on. He gets on the air, and I don't remember the substance of the interview. I mean, he's Lou Groza.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the program director for the radio station, who is not a Cleveland native, came into the booth and lost his mind about why I would put Lou Groza on the air. Listen to this interview. He makes no sense. He can't remember anything. He's, this is terrible. I don't know why you put him on the air. And I just said nothing. And I thought, this is why Cleveland people or people outside Cleveland shouldn't produce Cleveland shows, because no one cares. They want to hear Lou Groza talk. Maybe they've heard the same story 500 times. Tell it one more time, Lou.
Yeah.
So, and that's the reverence that guys like that, Lou Groza, the Otto Grahams, the Marion Motleys, Brian Sipe, you move it forward. The guys back then that played in Cleveland, no matter what the sport was, there is always going to be a deep held reverence for those guys. And that your story just encapsulates that.
Well, and I have a quick story too, because not only was, we talk about him as a person and obviously a player, but a lot of times, a lot of these guys really don't take advantage of their stardom and really kind of do a lot of philanthropy. He did a lot. There's a program he had in Berea, and there's a golf outing to this day. And all of our friends, I think he's friends with everybody, Ralph Tomasi, who is Lou Groza's son, actually went to Ashton University. They have a golf outing every year. They've done so much for youth football in the city of Berea in Middleburg Heights. It's unbelievable. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. And that was started by Lou, once again, just to try to promote the game and get kids involved. You're talking about jerseys and fixing up fields and all that stuff. So obviously, as the person, and we all understand this, you could do so much as a player, but when you do things outside of that, to show that, the type of person you are. And that's who he was. And it's just a great man. And I'm so glad we could talk about him today.
It's still obviously still kind of sits wrong with me that somebody would, obviously you have no idea what you're talking about and shouldn't be programming radio in Cleveland, sports radio, if that's what you think. But
well, Ted, as we know, sometimes we don't like it, but we sometimes have to deal with the jackass.
Well, that's oddly enough, I would say that might be who that guy was. But anyhow, I think we've honored Lou Groza enough today here, gentlemen. Dusty, thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Cleveland! This is for you!
The most trusted name in journalism. Klopp's Clips.
Ken, a Florida man started experiencing pain in his face back in October. More recently, his face felt like it was on fire and then started swelling. The unidentified guy went to the hospital where an ENT was on call. The doctor couldn't believe it when he used the camera to look inside the guy's nose. The guy's nose. Inside, the ENT saw dozens of bugs in the larva stage feeding on the guy's nose and sinus cavity.
Oh, my.
Some of the bugs were as big as the end of your pinky. In the guy's nose. So the ENT tried to suction the bugs out. That didn't work. So he pulled them out one at a time to the guy's nose.
Oh, jeez.
The doctor says the insects were against the base of the man's skull. No word on the species. Had these bugs gotten any farther, they could have killed the guy, but he's expected to make a full recovery.
Where does he live? Like literally in a swamp?
In Florida.
Not a swamp area. Does he live in a swamp?
I don't know. He said he suspects that part of the reason this happened was that he works with fish. You know, he catches them, cleans them, and he wasn't taking the proper precautions after cleaning the fish, wasn't cleaning his hands correctly.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
I'm
Wash
gonna
your
guess
hands,
that
everyone.
He's going to change that particular.
That's a good possibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I guess that he has a pretty good story if somebody asks what's bugging him.
Of course he does.
Drivers on I-90 here in Cleveland saw a surprise this weekend. 2 horses trotting west in the eastbound lanes of I-90. They were stopping traffic. The horses got away from the police stables. Fortunately, officers were able to round up the horses without a problem.
I must say that if I have driven that area multiple times, you have too. I don't know what I would do if I saw that. I would probably, I'm kind of a wuss, as many people know, and I probably would have crapped my pants. So, I'm going to be honest with you.
Take a picture. A New York dermatologist has a unique recommendation for dry and dull skin. I don't know if this is you, Ken, but pay attention. Dr. Shireen Idris suggests rubbing diaper rash cream on your face at night. Diaper rash cream on your face at night.
Okay.
The doctor says zinc oxide is the key ingredient. Other dermatologists say this isn't for everyone because it might, oddly enough, cause irritation or acne in some people. Dr. Idris says her face is soft and smooth as a baby's butt.
Well, that's everyone's goal, isn't it? That's what I want.
Yeah. Wow,
Oh,
your face is as smooth as a baby's butt.
Really nice. Are you wearing diaper cream? Actually, I am.
Are you wearing diaper cream? There's a set of words I didn't think I'd hear in that order.
No.
Oh my gosh. A Singapore-based Instagram influencer with nearly 250,000 followers has a new idea for making money. Chen Wing Yi is now selling her farts online.
Oh my, come on, man. What do we got?
Claims they can be retained for up to 30 days after a jar of the fart is opened. The jars cost $300, and she's already sold out all the fart jars that she has.
No more stock. We're out.
Eat some more beans. For the same price, fans can buy her worn lingerie, or if you want to step up to the next price level, about $500, we'll get you a jar of her used bath water.
What? I guess we're not in the right business. I mean, so many things I would like to talk about, but I just really not going to do that.
How do you collect a fart?
I don't know. I've never really tried to do that.
No, I haven't either.
Maybe
But
we could try to get Cheng Wing Yi on this podcast.
I'll tell you, in my house with my kids,
oh boy,
we could make a lot of money. But we would not. There'd be no shortage of supply. I'll tell you that. My my middle son, when he's ready to fart, he announces it by saying, "Fire in the hole."
Jeez. Oh, for God's sake.
Here,
Oh,
here are some scores in sports. 120 to 111, 132 to 121, 105 to 97, and 109 to 108. I'm Ted Klopp. That is news to me.
Oh no, not a dad joke.
What did the 0 say to the 8?
I don't know.
Nice belt.
That joke was horrible.
Ken, wrapping up episode number 132, and I don't mind telling you, I'm glad this past weekend is over. This is my this weekend includes my least favorite event every year, hands down.
The least favorite.
The hockey season ended. I enjoy that. You know, it's nerve-wracking as a goalie dad. You know,
Sure.
You're nervous, but we had one team make the finals. Unfortunately, they didn't win, but had a good time. The season ended Saturday, and then we tried out for a spring team on Sunday. So it never ends. Hashtag hockey is life. But also on Sunday, I hate it. The Pinewood Derby. This is a competition between dads to see who the best woodworker is. And then the kids claim the work. If it's good, and if it's not, then it's your fault.
When you say woodworker, I think about many different things, but not race cars. I'll just leave it at that. So.
Yes.
But you have talked about the Pinewood Derby for absolute years.
Yes.
I mean, years. This was before the podcast. You had talked about the Pinewood Derby. I understand what you're saying, because this is what happens. The kids aren't making these cars.
Nope.
We'll leave it at that. That's it.
My kids painted them. Well, I made them paint them this year and put stickers on them, but somebody still has to put the wheels on and the weights on.
Yep.
And it ain't them.
Nope. How did we have the Pinewood Derby, or are we just preparing
It was
for
past Sunday?
How did we do?
Well, so,
Oh boy.
we got playoff hockey and all that. So I got them to start on the cars like Monday of this past week. Well, you paint and you got to wait a day and you paint some more and blah, 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 blah. And, homework, hockey practice. So at 9:00 on Sunday morning, I was up trying to get the cars to weigh the right amount and trying to put the wheels on. Race was at 1:00. The weights and the wheels were on, as you'll find out here momentarily, not real well, by about 12:15. And so my oldest son is now a Boy Scout, so he was in the sibling race. And then we have a Weeblo 1 and a Weeblo 2. And I hate this because when they don't do well, guess whose fault it is? Not theirs. Yep.
Erica's.
Yeah, right.
Erica's fault.
So the sibling race, my eldest son painted the block of wood, which was kind of entertaining because all the kids were chanting block of wood as they're racing. He finished 4th out of 7. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Okay. Weeblo's 1. It's my youngest son. He finished 4th.
Out of 4.
Yeah, out of 4. Every time he was like, he had his head in his hands. However, the saving grace was that somehow the abomination of a design that was created only by my meager attempts at putting the weights on gained him best in show.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
I best in show. So that saved the day for him. And then Weeblo's 2.
Okay.
There were 6 cars competing. Would you like to guess where we finished?
I mean, I know the obvious answer. I'm going to go with 5th. 5th out of 6. You beat somebody.
I wish.
Oh, man.
This car was probably the second slowest in the whole race. It didn't have to get pushed across the finish line, but it sure took its time. And then I got Daddy, why didn't we come yesterday and test the car in practice?
Oh, you son of a gun.
Well, we had a playoff hockey game, and you, kid, wanted to stay and watch the other games that your buddies were in.
Oh, boy.
So, sometimes you gotta make choices.
Consequences.
And then there were tears. And that's what
I was going to ask if you had some crying.
That's what I hate.
Yep.
So that's over for another year.
Can I give you a little bit of an advice? Does every kid in Boy Scouts and Webelos and Cub Scouts, do they have to participate in the Pinewood Derby?
Do you think our kids would not participate in the
Well, maybe you just need to find another activity and they'll forget. It's like the shiny pebble. Look at this. We're going to go to this game.
Yeah.
Look at this. We're going to do this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, boy. Every year,
Not
my
happening.
friend. I hate to tell you this. Same story.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
4th out of 7 was the highlight as far as the racing goes. And then the
Best
unexpected design of the
of show.
best of show. Thank you. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Did you get a trophy?
He will at so they don't give the trophies on Sunday. There's a banquet later in the year where they give out the trophies.
For the
So-
Pinewood Derby?
Yeah. So it'll get rubbed, the salt will get rubbed in my wound again later in the year when we have to relive the idea that we finished 6th out of 6 and 4th out of 4.
Please tell me that there's something else involved with the banquet than just the
Oh, yeah,
Pinewood
there's
Derby.
other.
Okay,
there's
all
other
right. I was
stuff.
just going to say, if you just have a banquet for the Pinewood Derby.
Yeah, no. But I do have a gash in my thumb as a result of this. I told my kids it's a good thing you painted your cars red.
Did you have to go to the hospital or
No.
the urgent care?
No,
I was going to say, submit your bill to the Webelos.
I
Here, pay this.
yeah, no, none of that
No.
happened.
I understand your pain and the Pinewood Derby. As the years go by, people still continue to have the same stories. So I'm sorry. It's soon enough, it's going to be done. They'll be out of it. I didn't know the Boy Scouts did.
Well, they do a sibling race. So the Cub Scouts, if you're a sibling of an active Cub Scout,
Oh,
can race.
I got you. Okay.
so I may have to put up with this for another year or two.
By the way, I'd like to know this because I just saw the cost of Girl Scout cookies, which I bought not too long ago. What is the price of the Pinewood Derby car now?
Well, if you just get the block of wood and you're going to do all the work yourself, and you get then it's like, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks. You got to
Okay.
get weights,
Right.
so that could be $5 to $20.
So each of these cars, at the end of the day, you're looking at $40 in, right?
On the let's not forget graphite.
Oh, graphite.
You got to graphite the wheels. And
Holy
wait a minute.
crap.
Oh, wait, hold on. You want the lightweight fast wheels and the bent axles that have been polished? Oh, that's more.
So, okay, let's have this discussion. So each of those cars that ran down the course,
Yeah,
you're looking at what? $60 each?
probably.
Holy
Oh, yeah.
crap.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hats off to you. I'm saluting you right now for your duty in the Boy Scouts and
I'm-
Webelos.
I'm saluting the Pinewood Derby as well, but
I know you're saluting.
you know what my
Luckily, this is just audio only.
audio, yeah.
Wow. Well, it's a heck of a show, man. I certainly think the Pinewood Derby is one of the highlights as well as my rant in the beginning. But special thanks to our guests, jam-packed crew, Scott Sable, Dusty Sloan, and the always favorite Jen Brastovich.
That's right.
She always brings humor to our life and informs us of what the heck we should be doing for entertainment in Cleveland. And that solar eclipse, man, I'm going to tell you right now, that is going to be crazy.
Yep.
I'm serious. I'm really considering just parking my car here in Medina and walking somewhere. I might go to the square in Medina. Suppose that's a nice area. I think the Medina Football Stadium is going to be doing that as well, similar to what Avon's doing. My 2 cents, if you can watch outside, if you're in Northeast Ohio, just stay in your yard. Because I swear, from what I've been told, it is going to be one of the biggest events we have ever seen here in Northeast Ohio. And driving around, it's going to be like driving to the Cavs parade, is what I was told.
Do you know where I will be or where I will walk to watch this?
You're going to walk to Superior Avenue, maybe?
No, I'm going to walk to my driveway.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
Yep.
Ted, thanks for all your hard work. Thanks for those wonderful scores that you give us each week. I did have somebody ask me the other day, what are those scores? I said, it's scores. What do you think it is? It's scores. So
took that
thanks
long
for that.
for us to get somebody to ask.
Yeah,
What are
it's
those scores?
a friend asked me that the other day. So Ted, until next time, and I think we will be on in 2 weeks, so that'll be before the whole eclipse, and
Yeah.
I think we'll have some March Madness. The MAC Championship will happen, so we can talk about some of that stuff and the other wild and woolly stuff as we begin the spring. And by the way, I believe we spring ahead with the clocks pretty soon, if I'm not mistaken. That's always a cluster as well.
Yeah, that's another one of my least favorite days.
Yep.
I apparently got a lot of them at this point. Just an
Usually the ones that
angry
end
man.
in Y, correct? Is that
Just an
is that-
angry man.
Classic. Well, sir, thanks again. Once again, folks, please remember, we're just 2 middle-aged men in Cleveland.
2 Middle-Aged Men in Cleveland is sponsored by Westminster AV, custom audio-visual packages for all occasions.
Patio furniture.